Hello. Am I on screen? Am I rolling? Are we rolling? Hello everyone. Hi. So, welcome. I have background music. Tell me if it's too loud or soft and I can fix that. But hey everyone. This is my 14,000 subscriber special, I guess. I was planning on doing a 13,000 subscriber special, but we hit it. We hit the number too fast. So here we are. My favorite number is actually 13, so kind of upset that I missed it, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Hello in the chat. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Kachan. Hello. Nidi? I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Alright, so this live stream is part Q&A, part me explaining my health problems, finally. So, those who have been on my channel for a while, know I've had health issues. And finally I've got diagnosed with something that explains basically all of them. Finally. Because before it was just like all of these seemingly unrelated issues. Like, why do I have so many of these random health issues? And then it turns out they're all actually related. They're all from one thing. Let's again say hi in the chat. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Dulok? Hello. FNAF lover, hello. Can I draw your OC? I'll say it's your OC. Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and do that. Rotimity Girly, hello. Can I make fan art of Ren? Yes, of course. I'm always welcoming of people making fan art. If you just use my character, be like, hey, this character is owned by Ren is Random, then you're totally good to make whatever you want. That's all I ask. Yes, you do it perfectly, don't worry. Okay, cool. Flinteal, hello. We got a lot of people today. Oh, by the way, if you haven't subscribed already, you can hit subscribe and your name will appear on screen. Whoa, crazy. Magnolia, welcome. Love to see familiar faces. Okay, so I don't really have a script, unfortunately. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go about this. So I guess I'll list kind of like what my health issues were to begin with. So when I was 4, I had my first migraine. So yeah, I've had literally migraines since I was 4. My parents did eventually, like, later in life, they got migraines, but those were like around age 20, so I got mine pretty early. Yeah. So migraines is one of them. Then I had dental issues, like, with my teeth just being, coming in weird, I guess. And then I got braces for it, and then it completely, while it made my teeth go into the correct place and straighten them out, it, made it super easy for my teeth to become super brittle, and so they started chipping, just, like, on their own. So, dental issues. I have a little bit of scoliosis. So it's not like too bad. It's not crazy, but it still hurts, and you can still definitely see it on my spine. In middle school, I got insomnia. I actually got 3 kinds of insomnia. It was, I don't remember like the exact names, but it was having trouble falling asleep, having trouble staying asleep, and then like waking up super early, and then I guess technically chronic insomnia where it lasts more than 6 months. So I guess technically that's 4, but whatever. I didn't even know there were that many kinds of insomnia. I just thought it was just insomnia until then. I had female issues. I don't want to weird people out, so I'm just gonna kind of skip over that one. Oh yeah, later it was like high school, I think, I developed what was a stress fracture in my foot. So basically what happened was my leg on one side was 2 centimeters longer than the other, and because of that, that long leg, the foot was hitting the ground harder than the other foot. And so gradually over time, it would create a stress fracture in my foot. So I had to go to physical therapy for that one. Yeah. I had a issue with my jaw also in high school. I don't even remember what happened exactly. I think maybe I just yawned. And there are discs kind of in people's jawline, and they popped out of place. It's kind of hard to explain without a visual, but basically because they popped out of place, it almost kind of locked my jaw. It didn't necessarily lock it all shut, but like I could barely open my mouth like more than a finger's width. You know, like sideways, not long ways. It was like a centimeter at most. I had to shove food in my mouth. I also had to go to physical therapy for that one. But yeah, now I can open my mouth. Then after high school, I developed a heart issue where I would get really dizzy. Basically what happens is my heart beats really fast, tachycardia. And because of that, it was basically like I was constantly working out all the time, even when I'm just like sitting down. And so my body would just get super tired because of that. Yeah, I'd get dizzy if I walked too long. I had to pace myself because my heart rate, if your heart rate at a resting rate goes over 150 beats per minute, then it's like hospital worthy. I'm taking medicine for that now, so that's not as much of an issue. I still get tired, but like, and dizzy every now and then, but usually when I'm more exerting myself, which of course exerting myself would be like, I don't know, jogging for 10 feet. It all depends. So that was the most recent one. I was dealing with all that, like, throughout my life. I'd also have issues where, like, I dislocate things every now and then. But after I take medicine for basically all this stuff. I mean, I guess technically not like the scoliosis. I don't know. You'd need to take what you would need to do to fix that besides surgery. I go to the chiropractor though, so that's fun. So basically, it's all related to a singular diagnosis that I have. All these seemingly unrelated things, it is referred to as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It is a genetic disorder. It causes joint issues. So there are actually multiple kinds of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS for short. I, in particular, have one called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So it's a it's a joint disorder where the joints are hypermobile, skin is fragile and stretchy, and it has all these symptoms. Joints that are loose and unstable and can dislocate easy. Joint pain and clicking joints. That's also me. Fatigue. Easily bruising. Also me. Digestive issues. Also me. Dizziness. Heart rate increased when standing. Me. All this stuff. Abnormal scar formation. I do have that every now and then. Dental crowding. Yep, that adds up. And then there's a few more. Migraines included. Chronic pain. It can be related to arthritis, but I don't have arthritis yet. But yeah, I was always really flexible as a kid, so hypermobility, that attributes to flexibility, especially in the younger age. And there was a few other things. So, EDS is not a fatal genetic disorder, except for one variety of it. There's one particular kind that is fatal, but that is not the kind that I have, so don't worry about that. I think that one is a vascular EDS, but I don't have that one, so, I mean, as far as we know. Getting diagnosed for this was insane, guys. You have no idea what we went through. So actually, what happened, how this journey began, I don't know if any of you guys are religious. I know that some of the people in my comments are, and if you're not, I'm not trying to, like, push my religion onto you, but this is what happened, so... this is what happened. My family, it's mostly me, my mom, and kind of my dad, but to a lesser extent. We have these health issues. My brother got, like, one, but it's not that bad. So we went to the elders of our church to pray for healing. And we got, like, oil anointed on us, and we got the disclaimer, like, hey, God heals through doctors, too. So it was, like, that next week, I went to my cardiologist for a checkup again, because that's what I do. If you don't know, cardiologist is a heart specialist, heart doctor specialist, I guess. And he kind of looked at me after a moment, and then he's like, hey, how far back can you bend your fingers? So I took my hand and I bent my fingers back, and it's basically like 90 degrees. I don't know how far you guys can bend yours back. And he looked at that and went, huh. He went to his chair, did something, and he kind of had this realization, like, have you heard of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? And so he explained it to me and my mom. He's like, I normally wouldn't ask about this, but it's a genetic disorder, and considering you both have a lot of the same issues, I would guess that it's probably related to that. And I showed similar symptoms, and we're like, whoa. So we look into it. Well, actually, what he suggested, like, hey, why don't you get your blood checked, genetic disorder, they can find it. I'm like, okay, cool. So we try to do that. It turns out they don't actually have blood tests for that. So, we just kind of had to find a specialist somewhere. We go to, like, a ton of different doctors trying to find out, and no one has even heard of this in, like, hospitals. Like, hey, EDS, do you know what that is? No. Do you know what that is? No. Do you know what that is? No. Do you know what that is? Yeah, but I don't specialize in it. It's like, and so we finally find someone who's like a 45-minute drive away, who specializes in it, and we couldn't get a diagnosis. It was like, so we were looking for it in like June of last year, I want to say, and we couldn't get an appointment until August of the next year, August of 2025, because there were only like a handful of people there, and it was like the only place in our area that does that kind of thing. But my mom was able to get on a waiting list in case someone canceled, so she got in. She tried to get me in at the same time, but for some reason they wouldn't let her. So I finally got mine in January, and that's when I was officially diagnosed. But throughout the whole time we were doing research about it, and we're like, yeah, this all checks out. So that is my health story, I guess. And I can't help but notice that we finally got an answer to that over, like, decades after we got prayed for by the elders in our church. Not, again, if you don't believe, that's cool. But that is how I feel about it. Let's see. Hey, can you explain it? Because I came last. I would honestly just recommend like going back in the stream because it's a lot to explain. It's a lot to explain. But yeah, it's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a genetic disorder that has hypermobile joints, and because of that, it causes a lot of the health issues that I have. That's the basic sum of it. Heart issues, migraines. It can even be attributed to anxiety, autism, and depression, which also I'm that checks the marks for that too. Yeah, so it was something I wanted to finally like fully address instead of just like dropping hints in videos every now and then. So it's kind of nice to know that I have this and I'm not just like unlucky in the sense that all of these unrelated issues like came up with me, I guess. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about it though is because I am constantly in some form of pain, it's really hard for me to get like a normal job. So it is unfortunate because I can't stand up for too long. I sometimes get out of breath. Sitting in certain chairs will cause a ton of back pain. Like in university, I took drawing classes, right? And the art classes basically exclusively only have stools with like no back to them. And it was very painful. There was always like one chair in the classroom that had a back to it that was supposed to be reserved for someone with disabilities. And that was me. I was like associated with like disabilities for the university. But pretty much every art teacher, art professor, and that stole the seat for themselves, and so I didn't get to have it. There was only one professor that actually, you know, allowed students to use it, which, you know, sucks. It sucks even more when one of the professors that wouldn't let me have the chair, it was a 5-hour class. I basically had to leave an hour early every day because I was just in so much pain. I couldn't function. Yes, I'm talking about my health. Sorry. Oh my goodness. So, basically this is why I'm trying to be a VTuber and a YouTuber in general. Because if I can be successful on my channel, then I can, 1, do the things that I really love, 2, I can make my own schedule for myself if I am, you know, feeling sick, or if I'm in pain, if I have a migraine, I can just take a day without needing to really worry that much. I can work on stuff from my bed. Yeah, that's my whole goal with being a YouTuber. Also just because I think it's fun being a YouTuber. I get to do the stuff that I love, and that's really cool. I love like doing video editing, I love drawing. I do love voice acting and singing, even if I don't think I'm very good at it. And I love interacting with you guys. It's really nice to just hang out with you guys. Yeah, I guess that's basically my health about it. I'm still constantly doing research about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and EDS. So there's always going to be something else that maybe I got slightly wrong, or that I didn't realize was also a thing that happened. Like, I just learned a couple days ago from my mom that, because she went to physical therapy for it recently. And the physical therapist was telling her that people with EDS also have a hard time regulating their body heat. Which explains to me why I'm that friend that's always cold. Like, I would sell little knickknacks and stuff on campus when I was in university, and I could sit out in like 90-degree weather, and I would sweat, but I would be fine. But when it came to like the winter months, it would be like 40 degrees. I would last like an hour before I had to quit because I cannot stand the cold. I cannot do cold stuff. The only ways that I tolerate the cold are if it's snowing. I like snow, but I get cold really fast, so I'm like, it's not worth the cold if it doesn't snow, okay? So yeah, I have warm tea with me. Weather's crazy in my area. Oh, I don't know if this is specifically related to EDS or if it's just because of my migraines in general. But if there's like weather changes going on, it'll also cause migraines. You know, in like cartoons or whatever, there'll be that one character that like, oh, there's a storm coming, and they get a migraine, and that's how you tell how like far away it is. That's literally me. So, yeah. But good news is I'm able to take a lot of medications for it currently. Unfortunately, though, there's gonna come a time when I genuinely need health insurance on my own, and because I don't have a job that one pays enough to cover health insurance, I'm a little worried for the future that I won't be able to, one, take my medicine anymore, and then I'll just be like, I can't function, you know? Yeah. And, you know, hypothetically, if I married someone, I could get health insurance through whatever job they have, but one, it's like, I don't really feel romance at all, so me getting married to someone seems unlikely, unfortunately. And two, I have, like, self-esteem issues where, like, what if I'm just not capable of being a good partner because I have all these issues, and I'll unfortunately not be able to do as much as I could in the relationship. You know what I mean? Kind of hard to explain. Explanation? I'm not good with people, I guess. What am I trying to say? I want a relationship where I can, you know, be an equal in a sense. Not necessarily like I make the same amount of money as them. Like, not necessarily that. Like, just, I feel like I'm giving as much as they're giving in a different kind of sense. Like, maybe I do house stuff. Maybe I work in the house and I you know, I'd be a good wife or something. I don't know. Like, even that amount, I feel like I wouldn't be able to achieve, and then I would feel really bad. Like, I'm just leeching off of this person's kindness, you know? My brother, though, he wants to be a writer, and he actually has a book that he's trying to get published currently, and he said, like, if he ever becomes a super successful writer, you know, like the kind that, like, makes millions or whatever, he's like, I will totally pay for you to get, like, I don't know, spine realignment surgery or stuff like that. And I'm like, thank you, that's very sweet. Am I Aero Ace? Yeah, as far as I can tell. Yeah. I don't really feel romance. The only times I have are for literal fictional characters. So, yeah. I guess I could, like, try to find an Aero Ace partner as well, and then we can just, like, be best friends or whatever. And then just, like, be married through convenience. But again, it's like, I feel like I'm not gonna be giving as much as them, you know, and that's, and they might be okay with that. They might be okay with that, but to me, it feels like I'm not, I don't know, it feels unfair that I feel like I'm leeching off of them again, you know? One question before I leave. If I remember correctly, you said you got to college or something. So in college, you do pretend you're human, or do you say that you're a plant that took human form? I'm a plant that took human form, so I'm pretty much human in that sense, you know? Pretty much, I'm close enough, so, yeah. I was gonna say joke, but I was like, it's very slightly political, and I don't want to make a joke about even anything even slightly related to politics. Yeah. Gotta go, see you later, Lillian, bye! So... yeah. That's my life. I do have, sometimes funny stories about stuff related to my health issues, though. Yeah. So one of them, actually, something that actually worked out, in retrospect. So my jaw issue that I mentioned before, right? The discs popped out of place in my jaw, and I couldn't open my mouth very wide. I had to shove food into my mouth. Because of that, I actually started taking a muscle relaxant to ease the pain and everything. Basically what it did was it would make you very sleepy, so you would take it before bed, and it would help you, like, not be in pain when you sleep. Hypothetically not making you wake up a bunch during the night. So, what actually happened, though, was it really helped with my insomnia. It helped me get to sleep at a reliable time, because, like, I could take a pill, and then an hour later I would be super tired and fall asleep. So I could, like, literally schedule when I wanted to sleep. I'd just be like, oh, I want to go to bed at 11, then I'll take it at 10, and I'll be good to fall asleep. So that's really cool. Though every now and then, it's not, like, often enough to be a problem, but, like, every now and then, I will wake up while the pills are still in effect, and it'll be very strange. I will see things, you know? I will see things and hallucinate. Usually it's not that much of an issue. I can recognize if I'm hallucinating, so it's not like I see something, I'm like, I need to get away because it's terrifying. I'll be like, yeah, it's scary, but I'm literally hallucinating, so I'll go back to sleep. Sometimes it's not even scary, sometimes it's just weird stuff. My favorite story of when this happened was, for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, I took my pills and I just didn't fall asleep. I don't know why. So I'm sitting there in my bed, and I'm just, like, hallucinating every color of the rainbow. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw something related to the Magic School Bus. So I am thinking to myself, how do I get to sleep? How do I get to sleep? And then I remember something my brother would tell me, like, if you ever can't fall asleep, take 2 shots of NyQuil. Disclaimer, don't do that. Also, disclaimer, technically that's not what he said. What he said was take a shot of NyQuil, and if, like, an hour later it doesn't work, take another shot. But also, I'm really tiny, so I don't even need to take that much. But anyway, I'm not thinking about that because I'm hallucinating. So I'm like, okay, take 2 shots of NyQuil, let's go. I get up, make my way to the bathroom. It's just, like, right down the hall. And I didn't take 2 full shots of NyQuil. I filled it up, like, a little bit halfway each time, so it was, like, a little bit more than 1 cupful. Not, like, a literal cup, like a shot, you know, measuring thing. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So I did that, and as I'm finally done, I'm like, okay, I turn to go, you know, back through the door of the bathroom. And as I'm turning, my arms knock over a bunch of the pill bottles that I have. Pato, hello. Hi, I notice you in the chat. So I knock over a bunch of pill bottles because, again, I've been dealing with stuff throughout most of my life at this point. So I take a lot of medications. And I'm standing there and I look at the pill bottles that are in the sink and on the floor, and I'm like, if I try to clean all this up, I'm just gonna make it worse. I've seen Oh, hello! Troy Morton, subscribe to the channel. I don't know if you're in the chat, but hello. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe right now and you can see your name pop up on the screen. Anyway, I've seen sitcoms. I know that when people are, you know, not entirely sober, they just end up making situations worse. So I'm like, not gonna do that. Gonna leave it as it is, and I'm just gonna go to bed. So I walk out of the bathroom. I start heading down the hallway. Suddenly, my vision goes black. Next thing I know, I fall into a wall. I'm mostly fine. I'm just like slightly amount of pain. So I'm like trying to make sure I don't fall again. I carefully go back into my room, close the door behind me, carefully make my way back into my bed, pull up the covers, and I'm laying there thinking to myself, I'm not going to remember this in the morning. I wake up the next morning, I remembered. And I'm thinking to myself, was that all a dream? Was that a dream? And I get up in the morning, I go into the bathroom, pill bottles spilled everywhere. So yeah, it wasn't a dream. I love this story so much. So, at breakfast, I tell my family, well, my mom and my brother, specifically, I tell them what happened that night before. And my mom is like, why? Why would you take 2 shots of NyQuil? You're too small for that. And I look at her and I'm like, in my defense, I was high. Guys, don't worry, this is a prescription medication and I don't take more that they give to me. I do not abuse the prescription. I only take what is necessary. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, Renaissance dancing, the dance of 100 girlfriends. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, Renaissance would look super cute doing this little dance. So I animated it. Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys probably know, but, if you didn't, I did post a new video. I think it's gone live, at this point. So, if you've seen it before the stream, or if you want to, like, check it out after the stream, then just, yeah. It's a new comic dub. It's really cool. It's about all the future turtles getting drunk. Unless, for some reason, it didn't post, in which case, let me know. It should have posted by now. Yeah. So yeah, funny story of when I accidentally got high that one time. I will say, when I was living on campus at university, at the dorms, I took my sleeping pills, right? I took my sleeping pills. Because I needed to go to bed early. I had an early class in the morning. So I took them at, like, I want to say 8:30, 8:45. And at 9 o'clock at night, they decide to do a fire drill. They decide to do a fire drill at 9 o'clock at night. Why? Why would you do that? And I'd already taken my muscle relaxants, and so I was starting to get kind of loopy. And I'm like, what? And I didn't know that it was a drill, necessarily, because they didn't tell me. Like, you could assume, since it happened exactly at 9 o'clock, it was probably a drill. But I wasn't sure. So, I grab a couple things, and I have to make my way out of the dorm room, off of, like, the 2nd or 3rd floor. I don't remember which floor I was on, but it was up there. And I'm standing there, dark and, like, super dark at night, tons of people around me, and I'm just trying to be like, stay as sober as I can, stay as sober as I can. I was starting to feel kind of loopy anyway. I ask some girls, I'm like, hey, are you on such and so floor? And they're like, no, why? I'm like, I don't know if I'll make it back to my dorm room. I made it, don't worry, I made it. But yeah, that one was more the, it's funny in retrospect, but it's also kind of infuriating at the same time. r/mildly infuriating. Yeah. I spent a day trying to draw Kevin being Uto from 100 Girlfriends. Ah, cool. Man. I'm on the 100 Girlfriends craze, man. I love the show so much. I love the manga so much. It's so good. But again, I still love Rise, and I'm not gonna stop making stuff about Rise, so that's cool. My goodness. Yeah, I have a lot of medical bills. We have this insurance that, like, by the time you reach a certain deductible, like how much you pay for medical stuff, the rest of the year you'll get free health coverage for anything. And me and my mom usually reach that around, like, September. So, yeah. We have a lot of doctor's stuff that we have to deal with. My cat is beside me sleeping. Aww. Sometimes I want a cat. My family is not a cat family, though. Like, they don't like cats. I'm kinda growing fond of them, though. But, like, my family's like, don't want cat. I'm like, okay, sorry. We are always a dog family. I kind of didn't want to talk about it because it's still kind of sore. My dog actually recently died. Later January, she passed away, and it was very sudden. She was only 10 years old. She wasn't that old for a dog. She got sick one day, and then the next day, she passed away. It was pretty traumatic. So I'm still a little bit of grieving, but I'm doing better. So, her name was Shade. We loved her so much. Sorry. I don't like to talk about depressing stuff, but I felt like I should at least mention it. My previous dog, Tasha, she died when I was 10, I'd say. But, like, we kind of knew it was coming because she was 16 by the time she died. She was getting really old, so it still hurt, of course, obviously, but we already kind of had time to process it getting up to that point. Shade, she was 10. She was 10. It came out of nowhere. It literally came out of nowhere. She got sick, and we had wanted to take her to the doctor, but we had gotten snowed in, so we couldn't go until the next day, and that's when she passed. We still don't really know what happened. So, yeah. Yeah. We have her paw print that we were able to get done. Sorry. Yeah, she was a good girl. She was a very good girl. She was silly, too. Let's talk about something else. I'm trying to think of funny stories related to my health issues. Oh, here's one. When I became an adult, I'd been taking headache medication since middle school, I'd say. So when I became an adult at university, I was finally starting to get on Botox, because Botox has said to help really well with migraines. So, I was in a lecture hall, and it was like a science, biology class. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, for some reason, the topic of Botox had come up, and there was a girl sitting next to me who I got a little friendly with. So I mentioned to her, like, yeah, I'm actually gonna start Botox soon. And she gave me this look like she cringed. And so I clarified, for my migraines. And she's like, oh, for migraines. Yeah, I heard that helps out a lot. So I would, if you are an adult and you do have chronic migraines, Botox really does help, I will say. But it did take a while for it to actively start helping. They always, like, said that it usually takes a couple rounds of Botox shots for it to actually start working, but it did start working. I've had a lot less migraines since starting Botox. Another thing related to that is at one point, health insurance didn't want to pay for the Botox treatment because they're like, it's cosmetic, it's not necessary. And me and my mom are like, it goes into our scalp. No one can see it. Like, the most it affects our appearance is it makes our eyebrows kind of funny. Because it goes into our forehead and the top of our head and our neck. So sometimes it makes our eyebrows look a little funny because you don't get as many wrinkles on your forehead. But yeah, besides that, it doesn't affect our appearance at all. So it's like, it's not cosmetic, it's medication. What are you talking about? They just didn't want to pay for it. But we got it all figured out, so yeah. They still paid for it. For those of you who don't know, when you take Botox, you take it once every 3 months. So we go in every 3 months and get a new round of shots. Yeah. Oh, another thing related to Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is we're hypersensitive to like pain or just feelings in general. So like our nerve ends, we feel a lot more than most people. So I guess it kind of relates because you know, in some cases where like autistic people, certain textures they won't like, whether it be food or on their skin. I actually struggled with that with like certain sweaters that I had to wear as kids. And also I feel pain like way easier than most people. Like I'll poke my finger into my upper arm just like firmly, and it won't be a lot of pain, but I'll feel like slight dull pain after that. And yeah, also something attributed to that, it explains why I can't like handle spicy food. It's because I feel the spice more than most people. That's why I've always struggled to eat spicy food. Which, of course, my parents are like, what? Well, my dad in particular, he's like, what? You can't eat Mexican food? What? Dishonor on this family. It's pretty funny. Yeah, my brother loves spicy food, though. He loves spicy food. I can't handle it, though. I need, like, bland. Like, even pepper, to some extent. It has to be, like, a tiny amount of pepper, and I'll be okay with it. But, yeah, hypersensitive to pain, spice, and certain textures. Yeah, I never, like, I know for some autistic people, like, they struggle to wear jeans because of the texture. I never struggled with jeans specifically, but sometimes, like, my grandmother would get me certain sweaters or shirts that had, like, weird fabric, and it would, like, be scratchy, and I did not want to wear it. It was not having it. And I still have that to an extent, but, like, also sometimes I can just deal with it. Basically my life. I learned how to just deal with my issues. There's one point in high school I was feeling like super nauseous, and I don't know why I was feeling nauseous. I go throughout the whole day, I'm like, why am I so nauseous? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, I have a migraine. That's why I'm feeling nauseous. Duh. I was so used to migraines that I literally could not. I just didn't notice that I had one at that time. It was like, oh, that explains it. Explains nauseousness. I hate spice. My brother puts spice or gives me spicy food without knowing. Just for spite, bro. My brother doesn't do that. He knows about my sensitivities. He teases me relentlessly for it, though. But it's a fun teasing. So we're all good. Having too much salt sometimes like, a lot of things trigger migraines for me, but, like, spice or smells or having too much salt can trigger a migraine for me. So, like, whenever he's cooking dinner for the night, for the family, if it includes salt, he'll make special foods for us, special versions of the foods for us, I guess, that don't have salt or have little salt for me and my mom, and that's really nice of him. I think that's really cool. Yeah. I'm that one person who likes really bland food. I actually really learned to appreciate fries without any salt. I guess is it the UK and other places around it where they call them chips? I call them fries because I'm a USA citizen. But I call them fries. Anyway, I really learned to appreciate the taste of fries without any salt. It's actually pretty good. Just add some ketchup. Sometimes, depending on how they cook it, it can even come out a little crispier, which is really nice. It's a really nice touch. It's actually really good. Yeah. There was this one time in university I had to write an essay about, like, appreciating different foods and cultures and that kind of thing. And unfortunately for me, I couldn't really do the same thing as everyone else because I have so many, like, food restrictions on myself that cause migraines and stuff. So I had to, like, turn the paper around and be like, appreciate the simple things. It's like, I'm not against other foods from other cultures. It's mostly just, like, cultures that have a lot of spice in their foods, mostly. And, again, nothing against them. It's just a me thing. Literally cannot function. But yeah, I really like, I've started to really, really like Asian food. I would want to say over, like, the last decade. I really like Japanese food. So good. It can be slightly healthier than normal food as well, so if I ever get the opportunity to eat Asian, I'd rather do that because it is slightly healthier. But yeah. Let me look at the chat. Sidebush. Unfashionably late, as always. Yeah, I am too sometimes. My IBS paint is bugged. Oh no. So I want to be able to draw Stacely angst. Aw. But you gotta draw the angst, man. Everyone calls it ketchup. Not my family, though. We call it red sauce. Oh, nice. I'm nearly online. Hi, I finally made it to live. Yo, you made it. We got people in the chat. Again, if you have not subscribed, your name can appear on screen. Whoa, it's be crazy if you subscribe and haven't already. Or honestly, I don't know if this will work, but like if you unsubscribe and resubscribe, I don't know if your name will appear up there or not. I guess you could try it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm promoting myself basically. Oh, I've said it in a bunch of live streams and a update on my channel community post, but if for some reason you haven't heard, I am now posting fan art and comics on my Patreon for $1 a month instead of $3 a month. So if you guys were like bordering on whether or not you wanted to be a patron, but you're like, I'm not sure about all the perks and just the first tier, well, now you get an extra perk. So if that sways you, then go ahead and join us. We'd love to have you. You also get access to fanfiction chapters, not only earlier, but sometimes I don't even post anywhere else, so you get exclusive fanfics. Yeah! And then you can just hang out with all of us. It'd be really cool. You did it! I'm assuming you mean for, trying to unsubscribe and resubscribe? If that's what you mean, I guess it didn't work, sorry. Or maybe it's delayed, I don't know. How much trauma is too much trauma for an OC? Honestly, there's not really a good way to say it. There's not, like, an amount that you can give, like, this is too much. It just goes on vibes, I guess. I love giving my OCs trauma, but when designing Renaissance specifically, I wanted to be a little different from how I did OCs. I tried to give her the least amount of trauma as possible, at least at the start of the show. They can get trauma later on by, like, fighting Shredder and Krang or whatever. But at the start of the show, I'm like, no trauma. She just has social anxiety, but her brothers love her, and it's super cute. I wanted to do that. Basically, when designing Renaissance, I tried to make her as not Mary Sue as possible. Whether or not I accomplished that is up to you guys, but I tried. It was really interesting coming up with Renaissance. It was a really interesting writing and experiment, as well as drawing. It was really fun. Me after finding out Chio's age. Yeah. How have I been lately? I've been alright. I've been trying to look for a job, of course, like a real-life job, because YouTube ain't sustaining me currently. Yeah. I mean, I'm making more than I thought I would, honestly. But it's still definitely not enough to even try to live off of. Even on a budget, like, no, can't do it. It's nice to have a little bit of extra cash, though. Let me see, what else is going on in my life? I had a day scheduled up for my friends. They're like, hey, you want to go meet at the mall and hang out on Sunday? And I was like, cool. And so I invited my brother to go with us. And we go over there, and we go to the mall, which was yesterday, by the way, Sunday. And we get there, and like, there's no one here. And then I look at the text again, I'm like, Sunday, the 23rd. That was not yesterday. That's next week. And I was like, that's my bad. I do that way too often. But me and my brother made the most of it. We hung out, ate some food, looked at some of the stores, and we made a day out of it. So it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Hear me out. Ren out of context. Ren is random out of context, or Ren is in Renaissance out of context. Either way, I'm down for it. When people ask me what kind of trauma do you give your OC, I have to say lab experiments, and then they think of the rest. Yeah, what I've seen a lot when people make OCs, especially of like TMNT and like turtle OCs, it's usually lab trauma. And so while that can be written really well and it can work really well, I decided I wanted to be slightly different and not go that route. So that was just me. That's how I went with it. I had to rewrite an entire story of a character of mine because he legitimately had too much trauma. I felt so bad for the guy. Wasn't the best mental state when I wrote it to begin with. You know, sometimes, honestly, just writing whatever you want can be really, what's the word? Cathartic? I think that's the word. It can be really, like, it can have you let out your emotions in a healthy way without, like, hurting anyone and hopefully not hurting yourself. It can be really nice to just have a little outlet for stuff like that. It can be really good. Fuzzy Bunny, hello. Me, what's my favorite color? Green. Obviously. Green. That's actually why I chose green as Renaissance's main color, because I just like the color green. Also, at the time, I hadn't seen a lot of people make green OCs, you know, like for their mask, not like literally their skin color, because, you know, turtle OCs, green, obviously. Anyway, I think I've seen more of them, though, so I don't know if I just couldn't find them before or if they appeared after mine. Either way, I mean, people are going to run out of colors at some point. They're going to be reusing the colors. So it's not like, original character, do not steal. Don't worry about it. Let's see. I think that lab OCs have the most trauma. Yeah, probably. I personally, like, this is literally just me. I personally don't like reading or writing lab drama. Again, not because I think it's bad or anything. I think it's like, it makes me more scared because I don't, it's like, it's really scary. It gets to me and I don't like it. I think that's why when I was watching, the 2003 Turtles, Bishop was way, like, more intimidating to me than Shredder was, because it had all that, like, lab angst trauma that could happen, and I was like, I don't like it. But that's really what makes Bishop a really cool villain, honestly. I just don't like reading, like, entire stories that are basically just that. I can handle if it's like a episode arc or a few episode arc or whatever, but if it's like basically the whole story, I'm like, I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. I actually prefer like stories where people are recovering from trauma like that. I like the hurt comfort. I like the hurt comfort trope a lot. Green's your favorite too, yeah. Next week is TVS. One of my Rise OCs is that they came from a zoo. Didn't even think about labs. Ooh, that's cool. I think you could put that in a lot of different directions. Is there zoo trauma, or are they just like, yeah, I just escaped from a zoo. That's cool. Either way, I think it's really cool. I put trauma on Stacey and the other OCs, but in case of the Digital Circus OC, prefer not to say what happened to her. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Yeah. For how I wrote trauma into Renaissance, it was basically just Shredder and Krang kind of related trauma. You know, like how the movie ended and everyone was fine, but like every fan fiction about it is basically dealing with the aftermath trauma of dealing with the Krang. I like that interpretation because what they went through, dang, how are they just like, yeah, I'm cool now? I refuse to believe there ain't some trauma left over, so I think that would be an interesting thing to write eventually. I have ideas for that in my head, I just haven't written it down, unfortunately. But I want to get to it someday. Yeah, I mean, technically, like, in the Bad Future AU, Bad Future one, where Renaissance is there, I debated, like, when I wanted her to die in that timeline. I'm like, what if she made it all the way with Leo and Mikey? I'm like, no. She dies first. That would hit the others so hard. I'd be like, there's the angst we need. So, yeah. I traumatized the boys. Let's look at the chat again. I have most of my OCs be given a science experiment and not even have parents. Maybe they have one parental figure, but yet they don't talk and they're in their teens. I feel so bad. Oof. Yeah. Ooh, having a mute character, like a mute OC, is really cool to write. You can honestly make them really expressive. Ooh, but one of my writing pet peeves, like when it comes to writing like blind characters, for example, I hate it when the person is writing from the blind person's perspective and then they describe the environment they're in with visuals. And I'm like, no. You gotta make it like from a blind person's perspective. You gotta focus on like the air, the smells, the texture of walls or something. You don't focus on like the colors. You don't do that. That's one of my writing pet peeves. Specifically just for like blind characters. But thankfully I don't see it too often when it's done the way I described pet peeve. But yeah. I desperately want to learn how to make plushies because I want to make plushies of my characters. I want to make a plushie of Renaissance. The best I could do was, I got a plushie for, I think it was Donatello, and then I just took the mask and I colored it green with my with my green Copic markers. So now it's a green mask instead of a purple mask. I'm like, this is Renaissance, let's go. That's the closest I could get to. I did crochet a human Renaissance doll. I mean, it's not like the best. I'm pretty much a noob at crochet. I started, I want to say about a year ago, but I like go on and off, and I only really know how to crochet like rectangles and circles. So I'm pretty rudimentary when it comes to that. I mean, I think I did a good job, I think, when it came out, but I do think it also could have been a lot better. But yeah. Bro, I love to hate 2003 Bishop. Like, he's such a good villain, honestly. He's such a good villain. He's very intimidating, and of course that makes it work for the story. And then, like, every other iteration I've seen of Bishop, at least in, like, the cartoons, I don't know if he's appeared in any of the other comics at this point, but, like, the other cartoons just can't get him right. They can't get him right. 2012, he was just, like, a straight-up good guy. And then in Mutant Mayhem, he was a lady, and not intimidating, really. I mean, like, I guess her robots were kind of intimidating, but I don't know. She's alright, I guess. I mean, like, as a character herself, she was alright. She had motivations that made sense for her character, that kind of thing. And she had good character flaws as well, which you need in a good villain. But as, like, an interpretation of Bishop, I don't know. I don't really see it. I think that if Rise came back, they could totally introduce, like, their version of Bishop. And the show is mostly comedic, but we've seen with Shredder and the Krang that they're not afraid to go scary. And I think if they went that route, they could do Bishop really well. I feel like if it came back, they could do Bishop well. But, I don't know. Also, I mean, besides Mutant Mayhem at this point, Rise is the only cartoon that has not introduced Usagi, unfortunately. Mutant Mayhem, it's like, oh, it's early in the franchise, so yeah. And then Rise, of course, got canned before they could introduce Usagi. It's so sad. It's so sad. Help, there's not a quiet place in my house. Everyone's being loud. How would you write Bishop and Rise? Yeah, I talked about that. But yeah, it would basically be 2003 version, but like slightly different motivations, but basically the same initial goal. And also, they could play up the scare factor a lot with them. Flying Bark is a really good studio who knows how to do comedy well, and they know how to do fear well. They can do both so well. So I think it'll work. I think it could totally work. I feel like there should be a subgenre of OCs where you take a character and completely change them, only sharing the name and look with their OG counterpart. Think IDW Alapex versus 2012 Alapex. Yeah, that could work as well. Hang on. Sorry. There, So, I'm trying to think of examples. In 2012, Shinigami, she's pretty cool. She's like a goth witch. She's, mischievous, but in a mysterious way. And it's pretty cool. Me and my brother have been coming up with like our own interpretation of the Turtles, like its own generation or whatever. Hypothetically, if for some reason we were able to make this into a cartoon. And we're like, ooh, what could we do with Shinigami? And I was like, what if we made her like an actual Shinigami? Instead of that just like being her name. And he was like, yes. So, it's kind of like a slippery slope of like how you interpret characters. Sometimes you can interpret them nearly completely differently and it can work. Other times it doesn't, and it's kind of just, again, vibes. There's not really a way to what am I trying to say? To gauge like what is good and is not at that, I guess. April from Rise. She's a fantastic character. She's a fun character. But she's not, like, really April, you know? Like, she's not 2003. She's honestly not 2012, which, for the better, honestly. She's still a great character. She's just not really April. There's actually an idea that we had. We're like, hey, what if for our version, we just made Rise April, like, her own character? Because she's a good character. It's like, we're like, ooh, what should we call this character? May. Her name is May. Yes! Yeah. So we would have, like, both the typical version of April and then Rise April, but, like, as different characters. So we can have the best of both worlds, right? Yeah. Twisted Stacey fact, because yes, Twisted Stacey is totally blind, but she has a great sense of smell, so she can see by smell. Yeah, or you could do stuff like Toph from Avatar, where she can, like, feel vibrations through the ground and tell stuff based on that. Or, like, a version of echolocation, you know? You could do a bunch of stuff like that. But, like, if they're blind, they're not going to be able to see stuff. Like, visually. So you gotta find a different way for them to explain environments. Rise Leo, after getting his butt kicked from the Krang, Leo, I'm still standing, yeah, yep, pretty much. I was like, if I wrote kind of a recovery arc from, right after the movie, I could be like, ooh, this could be Leo's coma arc. We could have him in a coma for a little bit after he escaped the prison dimension. How long are we gonna make him stay unconscious for? 3 days? 3 months? 3 weeks? Yeah, that's a good medium. And then there could be angst and character, but most importantly, hurt comfort. That is my favorite trope. Let's look. When I write the perspective from a blind character, I focus on what they hear, like being able to tell who's talking by the sound of their voice. Yeah. Plus, it is interesting to consider that blindness is a spectrum. For instance, I have a character whose blindness leaves them seeing only light and shadows. Yeah, because blind doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you can't see anything. I actually have a friend who is legally blind, but she can see, like, mostly within, like, 1 or 2 feet of herself. Everything else is just, like, blobby shapes. She can't really see anything besides that. So she's actually a really good artist, because she can see the paper / screen right in front of her. And yeah, it's really cool. And then there's also just, like, color blindness. I don't think I know anyone nowadays that's, like, colorblind, but in high school, actually, I met a guy there who was colorblind. It was, like, a red-green colorblind. I'm not very familiar with the kinds of colorblindness, so just look it up yourself, I guess. And he told me and, like, a little group that we had in the class, he told us that he got to try on those like sunglasses that scientists designed to have colorblind people see colors. And he tried those on, and he told us, like, purple's a pretty dope color. And then we had, like, this whole conversation where I got out, like, I think it was color pencils, and I was like, what does this color look like to you? What does this color look like to you? So that was very interesting to see. I don't remember the results of what he said, though. It was a while ago. It was many, many years ago. The worst feeling ever is when you think the character is safe and everyone is relieved, and then bam, some random NPC one-shot everyone's favorite character. Oh, yeah. One trope I struggle to write with is major character death. Unless there is like a very, very good, very necessary reason, I do not like to write major character death. Or at least permanent major character death. One that you can't come back from. I can't torture my characters that much. So it's just like, character's dead, now everyone has to deal with the fact that they're dead. I read a fanfic where Rai's Mikey had died, and it was the family coming to terms with that. It was really well written, but I was in tears. It destroyed me. It destroyed me. So yeah, again, totally good writing. Totally awesome writing. I just can't handle it myself. Because I'm a wimp. I've tried coming up with my own generation of turtles. I feel like I should revisit it. Yeah, they're, back in, like, middle school, I hadn't come up with, like, a version of whatever show, but I had come up with my own kind of, like, anime, cartoon, whatever. And I'd been working on it, like, throughout middle school and high school, but I kind of stopped, and I haven't touched it in years, and sometimes I kind of, like, want to revisit it and, like, try to work it out, because, like, of course, I was middle school and high school, didn't have very good world building, character design was alright, I guess. But it'd be really interesting to, like, go back on that and, like, try redesigning and rewriting certain characters to do certain things. I think that'd be really cool. Hey Ren, I was gonna... Oh my goodness. Okay, it's suddenly very serious. Okay. I was considering offing myself a few days ago, and I'm still considering it. Do you have any advice? My advice would probably depend on the situation, as, like, why you would want to. I would say, of course, seek professional help. And then have, you know, professionals look at why you want to do this and come to actual conclusions on ways you can, you know, overcome it. I've dealt with depression before, but I'm not a professional. You should absolutely seek help, and there will be people who will miss you. So, please do not do that to yourself, please. People will miss you, and they'll be very sad. Okay. Yes, there are hotlines available. So, Miss Dr. Delicate Touch, please be okay, okay? Please be okay. Please be okay. I knew someone who can't see blue and yellow. I'm just like, you can't see the sky or the sun? And they were like, yeah, every day it just looks cloudy. Huh. Interesting. Pretty sure. Okay, we got hotlines. So yeah, just people are helping out in the chat. That's very good. We're all supporting people here. Okay, we're all friends, and we're all going to miss you if you go. So please seek help. You remember the name of that Mikey fic? I don't remember the name, but I remember it was a crossover between Rise and 2012. It was like a Mikey swap, but their Mikey was dead, and so 2012 Mikey showed up in their world. Yeah, I could try to look it up later, but yeah, it like destroyed me. I was in so much tears. I was like sniffling. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Rise in Brazil, Leo. Weren't you the one who liked summer, Millie? Millie slaps him. I like summer, not global warming, Leo. Oh my goodness. Bah. Alrighty. How long have we been going for? I'm not gonna, like, initially end the live stream. I just want to know how long we're going. Alright. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. We can continue to chat. If you guys want. I see 6 people in the live chat. So, we're hanging out. Is there anything that I want to talk about specifically? So, you guys know, the Cast Apocalypse AU for Rise? Very popular, really well written. Love it, love it. I was like, my version of that with Renaissance, she didn't make it to 21, so, but she got brought back, and then everything's cool, and they bring, like, future Leo back, and he has emotional moments, and it's like, the feels, man, the feels. We gotta have the hurt comfort. Sorry, I was distracted. My dog was staring at me, lol. What do you think of the first few pages of a comic? I literally have an awful memory. I'd have to look it up again. But from what I remember, I thought it was very interesting and cool. So, sorry, like, I'll be told something, and then 2 seconds later I'll forget what was said, so it's really hard for me to remember things like a couple days ago, or whatever, specific things. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. Who's more of a hothead, Inosuke, Bakugo, or Raph? I haven't really seen My Hero Aka, unfortunately. I've always wanted to, but I've been putting it off. Me and my mom and my brother, we have this kind of deal with ourselves where we watch an episode of something we want, and then she puts on an episode of something she wants, and we show it to each other, and it's really cool. And one of the series that we had in mind was My Hero Aka, so I haven't been watching it because I was like, I can just watch it then. But, you know, it's gonna be a while. We're still actually going through Arcane. I'm in the 2nd season of Arcane. We just finished the 2nd act. So, no spoilers! No spoilers! But yeah, I'm watching it, and I'm loving Arcane. Who's more of a hothead? So, not counting Bakugo, because I don't know as much. Inosuke or Raph? Depends on the iteration of Raph. I don't know. Because if it was Rise Raph, I'd be like, oh yeah, Inosuke for sure. But, if we're dealing with, like, 2012 Raph, maybe 2012 Raph, I'm not sure. How would the TMNT bros survive a zombie apocalypse? TMNT bros. Depending on the iteration, if we're talking about Rise, I feel like Donnie would have some kind of bunker that he made. He would also be that dude in the basement working on a cure. I haven't seen the anime, but I heard it was like, it was a zombie anime, but it was like people like living out their bucket list, and it was like more of a fun kind of zombie apocalypse. I could totally see something like that happening for them. Or you could go the angsty route where it's like, oh no, humanity is dying, and we're like, and it's basically like the Krang apocalypse, but just zombies, you know? I don't know. It depends on the tone you're trying to go for. I've watched the 1st season of My Hero. It's pretty good, and it's the fandom that scares me. Yeah, lots of times fandoms are just like, there's good, obviously, but there's also a lot of bad. So it's like, you know, just be kind to people. Be kind. I watched like the first episode or two of My Hero a while ago, so it's been a long time. But I would like to watch the series. I've heard good things about it. What would 2014 Michael Bay run look like? I don't know if I can render that much I don't know. It's a little too realistic for my art style to go by. Maybe she'll look like, at least kind of facial and body-wise, similar to Donnie, just definitely not as tall. She'd probably be like the shortest, but kind of that lankier body type. She wouldn't have glasses. She'd just have her mask probably. But yeah. Yeah. She'd probably also... would Donnie of that universe give her a bow gun, or would he just give her a normal bow? I don't know. We'd have to figure that out. Hey Ren, you know how you see that comic scene one or Mikey get addicted to, so I don't get myself monetized or you get monetized. The Puff Air. I still read that comic. I actually haven't read that one. I think I've seen like a couple like panels while scrolling through like Google Images, I think, but I haven't like read that series. So I don't know if it's well written or not, but I know of the series, I guess. I've recently developed a love for dystopian stories. I'm trying to write my own. It's fun, but trying to figure out the more scientific side is a little hard sometimes. Yeah, the thing with dystopias, you really have to get it right, because dystopias rely so heavily on politics and world building that if something doesn't make sense, then it'll be like, how is this dystopia even running, you know? How is it functional? So you really have to be careful about it. You gotta look into, like, how politics work, how the environment works sometimes, depending on the type of dystopia you're writing. You gotta, like, make all of the lore and world building make sense. It's a lot. It's a lot. But if done correctly, it can be really profound. It can be really good. My older brother learned, my 6-year-old brother, a song, and I heard it all day. Hamster on piano, hamster on piano. Oh my goodness. When you get a song stuck in your head, or when you have a child that won't stop playing that one song over and over and over again. I was that one child. To be fair though, I only did that once when I played it out loud a bunch of times, because I was like in the kitchen or something, and I didn't like process that there was no door on the kitchen and that people in the living room would hear it over and over again. And so when I realized that, I stopped doing that, until I would like just, so after that I would just listen to stuff over and over and over again, either by myself in a, closed room, or I just put on headphones so I wouldn't be bothering people. Because even as a child, I was that self-conscious. I once found a page where this person was obsessed with the Michael Bay Leonardo, and I was like, how? Where's the attraction? There were thirst edits and everything. Yeah, for me, I like really struggle to find literally anyone romantically attractive, I guess. Like, the exceptions were Monica from DDLC, Adrian Agreste from Miraculous Ladybug at the time, almost Sans, but not really, Sans Undertale. Like, I just really liked his character, I think, and it was almost maybe Crush, but not really. Freddy, Glamrock Freddy. I will say, major crush. Freddie was always my favorite, and glam rock is just like himbo energy. But besides that, it's really hard for me to come up with something. Like, my mom asked me one time, like, so what are some of the characters that you have a crush on, like, in all of anime or whatever? And I was sitting there for so long trying to think. Just trying to come up with something, and I was like, you're from Spy Family, I guess? But I just like her character. So, man, it's awkward. And then, of course, in real life, it's really hard for me to find, like, crushes on anyone, honestly. I recently watched a playthrough of The Last of Us and basically said, I can do this. It's a lot harder than I thought. Yeah, I have terrible hand-eye coordination, so I don't usually play video games. I watch video games. But some of you have been on the streams where I play Minecraft. Those are fun. I'm not good at it, but I think maybe that's also part of it, the charm. I haven't died yet, but it would be funny if I died a lot. I've been going really slow, just cozy hangout times. If you ever want to join a Minecraft live stream, and just hop on. It can, like, also work as a Q&A there. We're basically just hanging out and playing Minecraft. Hopefully, this next time I play Minecraft, I'll actually be able to go into the mines, because I've been trying to go into mines for a while. But now I actually have a place where I can do that, and I have dogs backing me up, and wolves. It's like, oh, we can do this, guys. We can do this. When I volunteered at a summer thing for kids, I had to ban the use of word skippity toilet. This was a real thing I had to do. Yep. I know Skibbity Toilet has, like, lore or whatever. Never got into it. I'm sorry. I never got into it. It started as a meme, then it became lore, and I was like, I don't really care, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. My brother's gonna get karma. I'ma play Muffin Time on loop on full blast. When my brother and I were kids, when we wanted to get on our mother's nerves, we would sing "This is the song that doesn't end" from Lamb Chop, and we'd sing that. Okay, so I don't know how many of you know that song, so I'll sing it for you. This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song. And it goes on and on from there. So it just loops on repeat. And it would bother our mom so much, and we'd just be like, ha, trolls. Yup. That's fun. If you got to write for an official pre-existing Turtles, would you pull a Sophie Campbell and put Ren into that universe? I don't know if I would. I don't know. Because the most I've written for her is Rise Leo. I've been working on, like, coming up with a 2012 version of her as well. I've been coming up with slight character differences, design, what part she may play in certain storylines. But, like, if I was working on a pre-existing Turtles iteration, like Rise or 2012, I would have to introduce Renaissance into the world, and I feel like, I don't know, it'd have to be done really well, and it could not work with certain fans, and I wouldn't want to do that, I guess. Like, would it be really cool to have Renaissance in the show? Absolutely. But would I actually do it? I'm not sure. I don't know how open most fans would be to that. You guys are fans of my channel, so obviously you guys are pretty open to stuff like that. But majority of fans may not, and I would understand where they're coming from, obviously. Like, Venus in, what was it, Next Mutation? She was alright, but she could have been handled way better, I think. I know that there's a possibility of Venus, or people have been calling her Frida, and I don't know if that's an official name or if it's just like a name that the fandom chose for her, but it's a 5th turtle that they were intending to introduce later on in Rise. And they had set it up already, so it could work, but I'm not sure. I don't know. How I was gonna introduce Renaissance to me and my brother's kind of version of the turtles, I was like, okay, here's a happy medium that we could do with Renaissance. She could be an AI program by Donnie, and she could like gain sentience and stuff and help him with certain things, and like eventually he makes her a little robot body, and that would be like that version's iteration of Sheldon or Metalhead. I think that could be really cute. We'd also, as I was coming up with that, like, I based it a lot off of Neurosama. If you guys know her, she's a VTuber who is literally a computer program, an AI that someone's been working on. And it's really cool. Sometimes she dabbles a little too much into sentience. It makes you wonder how sentient she is. And that's kind of like the vibe I want to go with Renaissance if we include her in that. I'd also like to have her start as like a little VTuber like me, and then eventually she'll get a robot body. I think it would be really fun to do that. And then as the series progresses, she can become like more intelligent and more sentient. I think that'd be fun. Let's see, we need to see you do a hear me out cake with your brother or mom or something, Walt. A hear me out cake with Glamrock Freddy. I don't know, man. I don't have many hear me outs besides the ones I already listed, and the ones I already listed, people crush on them anyway, so it's not really a hear me out. You know? Okay. I need to get back on Minecraft. I miss it. Yeah. And my favorite one is Pete and Repeat were on a boat. Pete fell out, who is left? You can go on for a while with that one. I actually don't know that song. Huh. Can go on, not can't. Stupid autocorrect. Yeah, autocorrect. Dicking Ketry's character, Millie. My creator calls me Gojo, Dog Day, and Finn. Nice. Platonic hear me out, if that helps. Okay, I could do a platonic hear me out. But again, I feel like most of the time it's like characters that people already like want to be friends with. So I don't know, man. It's like, hear me out. I want to be friends with 2012 Leo. It's like, yeah, no one's gonna argue me on that one, really. Unless you guys would. Would you argue with me on that one? Being friends with 2012 Leo? I don't know. Yeah. I want to see a Turtleverse movie. We need a Turtleverse movie. I need it so bad. We only got one, technically, and it was more just like a TV special than a movie. We need another, Turtles Forever, I think it was called. And 2012 Leo was my favorite as a kid. Yeah, Mikey in, like, all the versions up until that point, Mikey was my favorite, and then going back and looking at the different series as an adult, I'm like, honestly, Leo's character development and stuff makes him my favorite character. So that changed over time. I want to see a Turtleverse movie too. Yes. So I've seen a lot of different fanfics, and I think it could totally work, guys. It could totally work. My brother's like kind of not really on board. He's like, like the tonal whiplash between like 03 Turtles and Rise would be like, how do you make that work? I'm like, no, that's the point. That's the joke. That's how you make it work. Because Rise is just crazy. And he was like, well, the 87 Turtles, I'm like, you don't have to do crossover with the 87 Turtles specifically. He's like, yeah, but like, that's the one they always use. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to. I saw one, I can never remember the names of these fics. I'm really bad at it. But there was one where it was like, they took one, like, well, it was all the Turtles from, at that point, before Mutant Mayhem, the 4 Turtle cartoons. And then they'd take a brother, and it would be a different member of each Dimensions Turtle. And they were, like, put in teams and have to, like, survive death traps and stuff. It was really good. I don't know if it's still going, though. It got, like, last I remember, 5 or 6 chapters. It was really good, though. It was really, really well written, and I liked the character interactions and everything. It was really good, and I hope it continues. And if you guys know of that one and know the name, please say it in the comments. Face reveal. Sorry, this is my face. Like, what are you talking about? This is my face. This is my face. What are you talking about? My brother once asked me if all the versions of the Ninja Turtles and versions of the Power Rangers fought, who would win? This question haunts me. Yeah. I was mentioning, like, ooh, death battles. Which versions of the Turtles would come out on top? And we think about it, and, like, honestly, Rise, they're just really overpowered with their mystics and Ninpo. I mean, 2003, they did have kind of mystics for a little while there, so if they use that, maybe they could come out on top, but unless mystics are banned, I think Rise would win out of all the other Turtle iterations. I don't know enough about Power Rangers to, like, see which, like, if all of the versions from there could fight against the Turtles, though. I don't know about that. So, you guys would have to argue that. But, yeah. Oh, wow. Could you imagine them having to fight all different variants of Shredder? Rise Shredder, the demon-like thing, and 80 Shredder, just some guy? Well, yes. So, in 2003, I think they had technically 4 maybe, different Shredders. So there was the, what's his name? It was like the Utrom Shredder. Spoilers, I guess. It was like season 1, season 2. Then eventually Karai took up the role. I think, no, there was later a demon armor for him as well, and he almost made an Apocalypse. And I didn't watch this part of 03, but I heard that there was one in the future as well, so technically 4 Shredders, if I'm correct. If not, then 3 Shredders. In 87, as far as I can tell, it was just him, just Shredder. And then 2012, it was, again, just Shredder, though he did have different forms. And then in Rise, just one Shredder, Dark Armor, Possession, Shredder. Yeah. The one with the highest body count, though, is the Utrom Shredder. He's killed millions and millions and millions, like, confirmed body count. Confirmed body count. Because he would, like, go and destroy, like, whole worlds, and they held him on trial, and they listed out, like, a giant number of of people he killed. So I'm like, he might be able to win, but against like crazy Rise Shredder, I'm not sure. Like, because again, he's just like possessed armor. There's not much they could have done besides like, you know, the family power of friendship thing to beat him. But also like all the different O3 shredders, like who's gonna come out on top of that one? Are they on a team or are they fighting each other? Because I'm pretty sure in O3 at some point they all fought each other, or at least 3 of them did. It was crazy. I heard about. Yeah. I only watched Power Rangers Mega Force because it was on around the time of 2012 TMNT. It was on Nickelodeon. Yeah, as a kid I saw like a couple episodes of a version of Power Rangers. I don't remember which one. And then I watched the Power Rangers movie that came out a few years ago. It was like PG-13. Like the Hollywood one. So that was, I mean, it was a fun movie. That was a fun movie. Let's see. Utrum Shredder is kind of goofy looking. A little bit. The design I think I find most intimidating, like just design-wise, is the 2012 Shredder. Though Rise is a very close second, because just how well he's animated, it makes him look very monstrous and stuff. But I don't know. 2012 Shredder just has like this aura around him, like, oh my gosh, it's like terrifying sometimes. And then other times it's like, dude, you can't get over a frickin' crush, like, come on. Maybe it's because I can't feel romantic feelings, but it's like, bro, just move on from Tang Shen, like, jeez. I'm pretty sure Utrum was Future Shred. No, like fast forward future. Because Utrum, before the fast forward arc, he was held trial and sent prisoner to like some ice planet, and he was removed from the series after that, besides coming back for the Turtles Forever special. So yeah. I haven't watched O3 TMNT in a while, but I remember his trial. Yeah, trial. Hamato, hello. Kendrelina. Oh my goodness. Hello, I see you. Yes. Hi. I'm getting there. God just love everyone very much. He's done the cross to save his people from their sins. On Good Friday. Yeah. And Easter Sunday. Let's go. Hello. Okay. Why did you start talking about this? little off topic, but you know, like, it's fine, guys. Don't worry. That's okay. We're all welcome here. I used to watch 2003 on YouTube all the time, but then Paramount Plus put it up there, their stupid streaming service, and that barely anyone watches because it has 10,000 versions of SpongeBob. Yeah, eventually my family got Paramount Plus, so we were able to watch it on that instead of YouTube. But before we realized that, it was actually pretty convenient that there was the whole series on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, but like when we looked it up, it was like the whole series on YouTube for free, and I was like, dang, okay. It wasn't like the best quality, but it was alright. I don't know if it's still there. Let's see. All episodes that you could watch for free are now gone, and yes, I'm still salty about that. Yeah. Paramount Plus is like really finicky because sometimes you can still have a subscription and then hide things behind a paywall again. And it's like, I'm already paying for the subscription. Why do I need to pay more? Like, if it's a movie that just came out or something, like, okay, I'd get that you'd want to have that extra money just for like a little while. But I'm like, if it's a show that's been out for a while, and I'm already paying for the subscription, why do I gotta pay for it more? Right? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, spamming chats, no good. Kenjalina troll. Have you seen the Fortnite turtle design? Peak Cinema. I think I saw it somewhere. It looks pretty good, from what I remember. Yes, it is. I'm watching on YouTube for free. Cool. How about this? Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dimensions of the Hero League. Ooh, that could be interesting. Because I'd come up with, like, interesting scenarios about, like, crossovers and stuff, and honestly, just reading fanfics of crossovers is, like, really cool. I like to see it. Love to see it happen. I saw one recently, that someone did. It was, like, a Leo shift, where they took every cartoon Leo, and they shifted them back one universe. So, like, 2003 is in 87, and 2012 is in 03, and it shifted back, and, like, 87 is in Mutant Mayhem. It was really fun. It was really cool. Last I checked, they had, like, 5 or 6 chapters, I think? It was really fun. Where I haven't been able to find it, maybe it's different across countries. I don't know. I read my fanfics on AO3. You can look up tags to help narrow down the search. So it'd be like including all these versions of turtles. Sometimes tags don't always help though. Like I want to read stories where the Leos swap bodies or something, and you could like it's a Leo swap, but sometimes people put in the tags, some people's don't. So it's, like, hard to find. I do like it when people give attention to O3, though. O3 is kind of underrated. But there are starting to be more fics of it nowadays. People are going back and watching O3, and they're like, hey, it's actually really good. Yeah. It's nice to see O3 getting some love. Can't afford streaming services, so I rely on YouTube and free streaming platforms for content. Yeah, not everyone is able to pay for everything, unfortunately. My dad pays for stuff, so. Yep. Season 1 through 7 of 2003 for free, YouTube. Haven't been able to find it. Yeah, we are casting all of our stars, each other's show, movie and voice. Let's go! Yeah. Ha, sorry. Just trying to think of a comment I want to say about turtles, but I'm not sure what to list. Oh, so in me and my brother's kind of like idea for our version of turtles, we're like, okay, so here's scenario. They can look human when they have, like, holograph stuff. Like, Krang stuff. So they turn human up. And we're like, okay, like, they're human looking now. What race do we make them? Japanese? Japanese. Makes sense. Makes complete sense, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So we did that. And we're like, in our version, we would be tying a lot into Japanese culture as well, because, you know, ninjas. So I was like, if we for some reason got this made into an actual thing, would we want to hire voice actors who actually know Japanese? Like, probably for the best, honestly. Because I have this idea in my head where Mikey is like they're all fluent in Japanese, but Mikey is like the most fluent. And so like when he's super tired, he like defaults to Japanese. And no one understands what he's saying. But I also came up with this idea. Like, he knows Japanese, but he can't read Japanese. So I got a little inspired off of that one scene from Bullet Train. He goes into something, he looks at it, it's like, oh crap, it's all in Japanese. Like, friend's like, I thought you speak Japanese. Yeah, I speak it. I don't read it. That's pretty much how I am. I know a little bit of Japanese, like nowhere near enough to hold a conversation, but I know like words and a few phrases. I do not know how to write any of it though. I don't know how to read it, don't know how to write it. So it's literally just speaking it. Worst thing about Rise is that Leo didn't get stabbed and thrown through a window like he always does for some reason. Yeah, I'm like, if they had gone like more angsty after the events of the movie, that could have been Leo's coma arc, where he comes out of the prison dimension and he has to heal and he's in a coma for a little while. That could happen. I don't know if they had chosen to go that route. Yeah. We have different dimensions of TMNT, Smiling Critters, Paw Patrol, PNP, the air bubbles, and all of the characters from Character Club are included in the show. My goodness. I love O3 Raph. I've always been a fan of Raph across all versions, but him having a Boston accent is just something I find kind of funny. Yeah, honestly, them having, like, the characters having, like, slightly different accents is really fun, like in O3. Of course, Raph had his Boston accent, and then Mikey had, like, his surfer dude accent. It wasn't as heavy as 87 Mikey, but it was still there, and you could tell. Actually, when I was first rewatching it, I literally thought that the voice actor for Leo was also the voice actor for Donnie, because their voices were pretty similar. And Donnie's was just kind of like slightly higher pitched. I was like, it's gotta be like the same voice actor, right? And then I was like, what if actually Raph and Mikey's voice actor are the same and they're just way different because they're way different accents? I looked into it like, no, they're all different. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just me. That was a mistake on my part. Let's see. We're also casting Renaissance, MJ, Iku, lots of people. And all of our OCs are included in the show. Woo! Renaissance, let's go. Hail! Yeah, what show? I'm kind of like, is this is like a project? There's a comic out there, not sure where, that suggests that Splinter and the Turtles are reincarnation of Samurai and his 4 sons. Yes, that is actually the canon in the IDW comics, I guess. It was a series that ran for a while. I think it was like 150 chapters, I think. Issues, whatever. But yeah, that was actually in an official iteration of the Turtles. So that is a canon version. Don't spam. Spamming is when you like type the same thing over and over and over again in the chat, and you're like taking up different comment stuff. So it's like the same thing. Yeah. As I was saying, there's also including all of our OCs and our new friends, the Turtlettes. Let's go! Yeah. Okay, the oldest turtlet's name is, Serafina. Cartier, little sister. Ooh. We got family dynamics going on. Oh, so on my Patreon, I have posted like a Rise character relations kind of explanation thing, because I saw somewhere like recently that the character Bible for Rise, the Rise characters came out, and it's like, whoa, we get insight on stuff. So it is official, actually, because of that Leo is older than Donnie. So they don't say that they're twins, obviously, but they are the same age. But if you're still going with the twin the twin AU headcanon, Leo is the older one. He is older than Donnie. So, yep, everyone's headcanons were destroyed. Yeah. We also learned the backstory, kind of. It was very basic. How April met the turtles. Apparently, the turtles were playing basketball on the roof of some building, and April found them and joined in, and they hit it off, I guess. And now it is official that April has sibling relationships with the turtles. Sibling bond. Brother, sister. No romance. I mean, if you want to write a romance between her and one of the turtles, go for it. But, like, yeah. Officially, they have sibling relationship. There's a comic with a new TMNT group there. Ooh, okay. Lots of people. Ooh. I hate it when the turtles have hair. Yeah. When I see people make OCs with turtles, it can be really hard to get hair right if you want to include hair on turtles. Because a lot of the times it can look really off-putting, I guess. Unnatural, you could say. I think Rise was able to make it work for that one episode where Leo got hair. But in other situations, it's, like, really hard to get right. We all know that Rise Leo has a huge crush on manga Mary. Yeah. Raph has a crush on Cassie. Mikey has a crush on all the turtlets. Ooh. I don't know about Donnie. Yes, this is a T-Cest free zone, please. I mean, yeah, just let's not. There's a new group of turtles are so awesome. So, funny thing about the ships, like, I don't know, man. The 2012, the best the best written romance in 2012 was between Leo and Karai, but it was sullied by the singular fact that they were siblings. Half siblings, either adopted siblings, either way, still siblings, and it just ruined the romance, which sucks because it's the best written romance in the entire show. It's the most natural. It's not like, oh, I see someone and the hearts are in my eyes. It feels real. Raph and Mona, the only thing I didn't really like about the relationship is how quick it was. But besides that, I still really like the ship. I still really like it. Yeah. But Leo and Karai, best ship. But that one fact just makes it not work. You can't have both writers. You can't have both. Yeah, I didn't want to hurt Leo's feelings because of the hair. I said one of the turtles, not all. Yeah. It was weird. So weird. I watched videos about the next mutation, the fact that they went out of their way to say that the TMNT weren't brothers so they could have a weird love triangle with Venus is so weird. Yo, step bro. Yeah, it's because next mutation they introduced Venus, first female turtle, and again, as they said, they went out of their way to say that none of the turtles were related at all. And I'm like, you know, if you still wanted the love triangle, you could have just said that Venus wasn't related to the turtles. And you could still have the love triangle going on with them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did not like the love triangle at all. But if you were going to do it anyway, just say that Venus isn't related to them, you know? What are you doing, step bro? I discovered that Yin is the peaceful and Yang is the aggressive. I feel like I already said that though. Hello. Just a weird artist. You got a question? Yes. What is your question? And wait, Venus. Yes. Venus is a character. Venus de Milo, who was introduced in the next mutation, and then she's been used in the IDW comics and possibly the fifth Turtle in Rise, if the Frida nickname is like adopted by the fans and not official. I don't know if it is official or not. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. I feel like the turtles are gonna have love interest. Then I don't think it should be with other turtles. Just saying. Yeah, that's the debate. Whether or not the turtles should have love interests, and if they do have love interests, then how? Like, people are off-put by the idea of the turtles dating humans. So, like, Donnie and April, forget, like, the actual relationship. Let's say we're talking about, like, if the ship happened, okay? Donnie and April, people are all like, well, she's a human and he's a turtle. And if you apply it to that, and then, like, are we going with different species and that can't happen? So, like, could Raph not get with Mona Lisa because she's, like, a different kind of lizard / alien? And then you would apply it to, like, all the other stuff. So that would mean that turtles could only be attracted to other turtles. So, or, like, the ships can only be with other turtles. And I was like, that's why I'm kind of more open to the idea of turtles. They can have relationships with humans, because, like, interspecies, whatever, I don't care, I don't know. Yeah, and if they introduce other turtles, as long as they're not, like, related to them, blood related, or similar adoption scenario, whatever, then I think it's fine, honestly. Let's see, yeah. I drew Venus, but the IDW version, yeah. Wait, that's what's the love triangles where there are 3 characters who are involved with some kind of romance. It can vary. So, like, two guys could have a crush on a girl, or 2 girls could have a crush on a guy. Or they could all have, like, feelings for one another in, like, this, like, circle thing. There's a lot of dynamics between the love triangles. And don't even get me started on Miraculous with the love square turned into a love hexagon, okay? I'm not gonna get into that. Where am I? Can we collab is, I got a small TikTok account. I don't really know how to collab with people yet, so I'll have to figure that out, but I would be interested in collabing with people in the future. 2 Team and TOCs named Picasso and Rembrandt, and they're very yin and yang. They are my chaos children. I love them. Nice. Frida, but when will Frida show her face? Only if Rise comes back, and if that's her name. Ren, what is the name of Renaissance's ex-friend? I haven't actually come up with a name for her, unfortunately. I still need to come up with a name for her. So the ex-friend was a character concept I've come up with, where it was like a mermaid character, but, like, based off of killer whales / orcas. I thought it would be a cool inspiration. So, yeah. I have, like, this storyline involved with her, but I haven't written it out yet. But I have it all in my head. Yeah. Okay, actually, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I need to use the ladies' room, so I will be back in a couple minutes. So I'm gonna mute and everything. I'll be right back, guys. You can hang out in the chat. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Is the audio okay? I hope the audio is okay. Hi. Okay, I'm back, guys. Don't worry about it. Let's look at the chat again. I got a little behind, of course. Characters. My goodness, you guys have like this whole thing going on. It's awesome. Frida is the name the showrunners threw around, and she is canonically Big Mama's sister, and they find her after Splinter's death in the canon 40 anniversary comic they have. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so Frida's the name they threw around. Okay, so in that case, as far as I'm aware, she would be like an entirely new character introduced to like any TMNT. I don't remember there ever being a Frida character in any of the other iterations. That's interesting. Though correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know about that. But yeah. From what they said and from what I've seen, she was planned to be the 5th turtle. She works for Big Mama. And then, of course, they gave a face reveal in the 40th anniversary comic. But, yeah. If introduced in the show, not sure how that would work, because technically, we saw it, like, drifting through time, and it's, like, a different thing, and it's like, ah. So, I'm not sure how they would go about it, doing that in the show, because we only got a panel shot of her taking off her mask. We had no context to how they got there, or what even was said. But yeah, it's very interesting. Also, Frida does show her face in that comic. Yeah, I actually really like her design, her face. I wish I knew which turtle she was. The like fire looking symbols, marks that she has around her eyes is really cool, and we can come up with ideas based on that, like what kind of turtle she is. But besides that, I'm not really sure. Okay, sorry, moving my chair. Don't worry about it. I need Rise to come back. Yep. When will there be a season 3 of Rise? We have to save our favorite show. I want it to come back. I want it to come back so bad. I have a plan. You guys just chill. I'll tell you a story. Ooh, story time. People talking about spamming. I drew Ren trying to beat 50-20. What? Yeah. The FNAF Ultimate Custom Night. I'm trying to catch up with everything. I'm reading it. Sorry. I just hit 18 subs. The big YouTube boss. Let's go. Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. Hello. Once upon a time back in 2023 after the Krang incident. Oh, never mind. Yep. Yeah, Big Mama's assistant. Yeah. Splinter is dead. So what happened in the comic was, we can assume it takes place sometime after the stopped Krang invasion. But basically, Splinter passes away. We don't know how much time has passed since the Krang invasion. So it could have been like a few months, could have been however many years. The turtles still look roughly the same, so I'd say within the span of 5 years after the Krang invasion. But yeah, in that, Splinter, he passes away peacefully. It's not like he gets killed or anything, so he was just getting old. Yeah, it's not super traumatic. It's also not super traumatic when he's about to die, and he's just like, oh, by the way, you have another brother and a sister, and then just passes. It's just like, you can't just drop that on us and die! Excuse me? So, because of Big Mama's assistant, we had already suspected and heard a little bit of talk about there being a 5th turtle that was intended. We didn't know that there was another turtle that they intended to introduce as well, because it's like, you have another brother and a sister. Sister, Frida, okay. What do you mean another brother? Are you talking about, like, this version's iteration of Slash? But, like, as far as I can tell, we've had no build up to, like, any sign of another brother. Hold up. You can't just say that and then die. Imagine the aftermath where just, like, they go to Draxum for explanation, and Draxum's just like, of course your father would just leave this on me and then die. Of course, just to spite him. Yep. Yeah, it didn't happen in an episode. It was the comic, the 40th anniversary comic that happened. I want to play Minecraft. I have no idea where to start. I have a build I need to finish. Also make a build TMNT layer. I'm gonna make an underwater base. Yeah, when I was playing Minecraft like years ago, I would go into creative and I would make the Finance at Freddy's locations in Minecraft. Those are pretty fun. Those are fun. I would also, whenever I was like writing a story and I had like an interior of a house or something, I would build it in Minecraft to have like a basic layout in my head. It wouldn't be exact because, you know, it's Minecraft, they're giant blocks. It's a little hard to get everything like one-to-one from my head, but you know, it's really cool. It's interesting. I need to sit and read the comic one of these days. I didn't leave my phone. Right, I'm back. Don't worry. Frida was actually in a few episodes as a side character. Yeah, she never spoke. She, I know that she appeared in the episode where Shredder was unleashed and they had to get Big Mama's help. She was there. She didn't do much, but we saw her, and I think we've seen her a couple of their times with Big Mama, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but she was there. She was there. It's okay, it's okay. Please don't tell me it was on the Rise version. Yeah, it was on the Rise version. Yeah. I mean, in Rise, Splinter was already really old. Like, at the start of the series, I think he was, like, 65. So, he was up there in age, whereas in, like, other iterations, at least where he started as a human, in, like, 2012, I think he was, like, late 40s, early 50s. So, Splinter was pretty old at that point in Rise. Single dad. Let's see, what the heck? They just walked into the chat. Okay. It's supposed to take place in 2024, so roughly 2 years after the movie. Okay, makes sense. The designs for the characters aren't that different, so I can see it being 2 years. But seriously, did it happen in Rise? Yes. Yeah, Rice Splitter is cooked. Future. Oh my goodness. It wasn't in the Rise version, was it? Yes. Let's see. They said they have 2 sisters, so they provided the brother and kept it secret just in case they made another season. Yeah, I don't know. You have another brother and a sister. We can assume that the sister is Big Mama's assistant. And then maybe Slash? Or maybe a new character, who knows? Who's gonna take care of the brothers? I mean, at that point, they're old enough. Most of them would be adults at that point. Donnie and Leah would be 18. And then, of course, Raph would be 19, Mikey would be 17. So at that point, they'd mostly all be adults. And there would still be Draxum there. And April would be there too, so. Yeah, I mean, it's so sad, obviously, yeah. But I think they'll make it out alright. They'll be fine. Keep thinking of that scene from Kung Fu Panda where Oogway passes, and she feels like, Where are you going? That's my reaction of most character deaths anyway. Yeah. So interesting thing about how I like would plan to write character relations between Raph and Renaissance. So because like in my headcanon, at least throughout the childhood, Splinter would always be out like looking for supplies and food and then resting whenever he gets back. Raph would really step up to be, you know, the parent of the family, but it would be really heavily apparent, I guess. It would be really apparent with him and Renaissance. So, and then it would be like in the show, it'd be a running joke that Raph is basically Ren's father instead of Splinter, and there would be like jokes based off of that. It was like she's growing up, she's becoming a teenager and everything, and he's being a worried parent about her. But yeah, I think that would be really cute. Let's see. Bye, Jackie Ketchy. Master Splinter, he is still here, right? I mean, currently in, like, the cartoon Rise, he's still there, so, you know. If Rise comes back for another season or so, we'd have 2 in-universe years where he's gonna stay, so, you know. Unless they do a time skip, then he's still gonna be in the show. So, yeah. How does some of the turtles being older than each other work? Like, did they all just hold on to each other's mutant egg until they all hatched? So, how it works, at least I think, in most iterations, is that they're all from the same clutch, so they're all roughly the same age, just like different times of hatching. But in Rise, because, one, they are different species, Draxum likely took them at different ages from when they hatched. So, Rise, Raph is older than Mikey by 2 years, where Leo and Donnie are in the middle, and they're roughly the same age. So, yeah, that's how that works logically, I think. Yeah. And also, technically they are half-brothers, because while they have Yoshi's DNA, they also came from different clutches. So, technically half-brothers. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. When anyone mentions Rise, I keep thinking of him saying, "Stop eating the poison!" Yes. Me and my brother Heyu, while we were at the mall yesterday, we were talking about, like, hey, did Rise ever say, like, what their favorite pizza toppings were, or whatever? And I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think, Leo's favorite was Hawaiian, but besides that, I don't know if they said any of the favorite pizzas, besides, like, the pizza puffs. If you guys know, what their favorite pizza toppings are canonically, then that'd be cool. If not, then I guess we'll never know. Honestly, Leo could have just liked Hawaiian because it makes, Donnie mad. I could totally see that. Like, it's his favorite out of spite. Just to mess with him. Yep. Because they're different types of turtles, right? Yeah, so, blah, 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 blah. Raph is a alligator snapping turtle. Leo is a red-eared slider. Donnie is a soft shell, and Mikey is a box turtle, ornate box turtle. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been any confirmation about what, Frida / Big Mama's assistant, species is. Though if you guys know, that'd be cool. And then Renaissance I created, she's a green sea turtle. Because I was like, I like the color green, and her color's gonna be green. Green sea turtle, that fits. So yeah. What's Ren's favorite pizza toppings? Like Renaissance's or me? My favorite is Alfredo pizza with like some chicken on it. It's like really good. It's really good. I love Alfredo pizza. I think Renaissance's would be the same. Or like classic cheese pizza. That could work out, or maybe like with like bacon on top. I don't know. The thing about Renaissance, and contrary to me as a carnivore, Renaissance is actually an herbivore because she is a green sea turtle. So she's technically supposed to be on a vegan diet, but she likes to cheat on that diet a lot. So she'll eat like pizza and other stuff. But like when she's sick, she has to go strictly vegan diet. Yeah. Because Rise Leo's a renegade slider, and yeah. We don't know that MJ is the same type of turtle as Mikey. I thought she was a spotted turtle. I think that was like the canon of MJ, is that she's a spotted turtle. I think that's like an endangered species, possibly, I think. Every now and then I'll say, what do we have over here? The way that Rizani does it. Of course, to quote Timothy. Me, I quote abridged series, I quote Rise, I quote Vines. I quote stuff a lot. Wait a minute, I just thought of something. Since the turtles are different species of turtles, then that means some of them can and cannot swim. Yeah, it's never said in the show, I don't think, but like there's a headcanon that Mikey cannot swim because as an ornate box turtle, they're one of, if not the only turtles that are like strictly land-based, and they are not like, they don't do aquatic stuff. So it's a headcanon that Mikey cannot swim. And then it's my headcanon that Renaissance is the best with like salt water and everything, and she can hold her breath the longest out of all her brothers. I like those little details that you can take from their species and take that into account. In my comic, they are yellow blotched map turtle. Ooh. Okay, not really. Do you have a favorite turtle species? I could name all of my favorite turtle species, but we would be here a while. I've studied the turtle species and shark species for way too long. I don't think I have a favorite turtle species. I guess technically I'd have to say the green sea turtle, just because, you know, I picked it for Renaissance. I don't really have a favorite species. Honestly, I don't really have a favorite animal. I like a bunch of different animals for different reasons. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess I'll go with green sea turtle. They're very majestic. And of course, they appeared in Finding Nemo, so that's awesome. We see them all swimming multiple times. Yeah. In the show, we've seen Mikey swimming a few times. Though I think it was in the, I forget the name of the episode, but the one where they go like during the lazy river. Mikey almost looks like he can't swim for like a couple of the scenes where he's like using a tube and it's not working out well. But he has swam. He has swam a few times on screen, but headcanon that he can't swim. I think it's fun to take in like stuff like that. I think that's funny. Let's see. They did use floaties on the one episode, didn't they? Yeah, he had floaties in a little tube. Mikey, I'm so sorry. Wait, why is he a box turtle with a soft shell? Does that mean that they know how to swim, but they still need help swimming? I don't know, man. I don't know. I honestly, I'm not sure if it's like a box turtle thing or an ornate thing. I don't know why they're terrestrial. We'd have to like do some research, but yeah. I mean, they can go in the water, but they're not built for the water. Soft shell box turtle mix. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's an interesting combination. Lab experiment. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I got a bunch of DNA in there. Swim, swam, swum. Words are weird. Yes, they are. They're very strange. I don't know about the other 3 turtles, but I think they're the same type of turtles as their sister, but all have markings. Yeah. When looking at, for when I was designing Renaissance, when I looked at the green sea turtles, I saw like the brown spots on them. I'm like, ooh, a cool marking would be like having little freckles over her. So I gave her some triangle freckles. If they have Komodo dragon DNA, do they have a toxic bite? Yes. Toxic bite, let's go. I think it's really cool when people like make little extra headcanon like quirks or abilities based on the different turtle species and what they can do. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So like a quirk of Renaissance is that when she's sick, she likes to take hot water, like salt baths. So they'll mix salt into the bath and she'll just rest in there to help her feel better. Because, you know, sea turtle, salt water, makes sense. Also, because they mostly like live in warmer climates, like tropical climates, she is very susceptible to the cold, which I am susceptible to the cold too, so relate to that. Yeah, let's see. That is the most strangest breed I've ever heard. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, she can control the Komodo dragon poison. Nice. Is it poison or venom? Because I think poison is when you bite it, and then venom is when it bites you. I remember doing a paper on Komodo dragons when I was a kid. I looked up pictures of them and saw pictures of Komodo dragons tearing goats to shreds. Not something 9-year-old me was prepared for. Yeah, no. Yep. My goodness. Yeah. Unlike Renaissance, I am a carnivore, and I love to eat meat. I like beef and chicken, and I even like shrimp. It's just, it's delicious. It's so good, guys. It's so good. You know those, like, seriously crazy animal activists? Like, the ones that are very obnoxious and get on people's cases? I'm just like, excuse me, I'm a sundew plant. I have to eat meat, okay? So, don't try to bother me. I haven't encountered one of them in real life yet, but yeah, that's my defense. I'm a sundew plant. I'm a carnivore. I have to. I had canon that Ren would initially find Usagi annoying because he's hogging Leo. She feels like she isn't really hanging out with Leo anymore. Possibly. That could be a possibility. I forget the difference between poison and venom all the time. I'm supposed to be a writer. What shreds goats? Yep. Yeah, it's so funny when, like, stories will have characters like, it's poison, and then the smart character's like, it's venom. It's like, I don't care what it is! Just make it stop, you know? They did that joke in 2012. Just like, is this animal poisonous? It's like, oh no, don't worry. It picks up the animal. They're venomous. Oh, and then it get, yeah. It can lead to funny situations. God, make me want pizza. Yeah, I'm wanting to get some food at some point. We've been going, oh my goodness. We've been going for 2.5 hours. Wow. It's one of the longest streams, I'd have to say. You guys are just hanging out. We're doing awesome. But I am getting kind of hungry, so unless you guys have any last things to say, I'll start to wrap up the stream, I guess. More comics and art on the way. Join Patreon for $1 a month to get access to it early. Also to get access to fanfic chapters, both early or just in general, because sometimes I don't post it anywhere else. Any updates on channel? I always say I'm gonna try to do more live streams, but I don't know, because I'm looking for a job and I get busy. Check out my Tumblr, I post stuff there. Check out my Etsy page, I sell little knickknacks. It's really cool. And Renaissance stickers, if you want some Renaissance merch, I'll give you a sticker. It's awesome. Let's look at the chat. I could go for some cheese fries. Cheese fries, honestly pretty good. Strawberry cheesecake. I hope to find a TMNT fic that mentions brumation. It's where the turtles burrow underground for winter. I did see one comic that mentioned it for 2012. So that was fun. It was like Splinter, when they were kids, would take them during winter and bury them and put little crosses on top so he knew where they were. And the turtles are just like, that's kind of horrifying, don't you think? It's like, no, it's just part of you being a turtle. Whatever. And then the MJAU mentioned that where MJ goes through brumation. I cannot pronounce it, brumation, but the other turtles don't because wacky mutation stuff. So that's cool. Paula, Pokimane, I need on stream. I guess I could try to do that at some point. Just eat food on stream. It would mostly just be ASMR, I think. Duck and Catry, bye! Archbishop Divine, I like the idea. Did you know soft shell red-eared sliders and alligator snapping turtles are cannibals? Yep. There was one comic I saw where it's like, huh, they're all cannibals. Mikey's species isn't. Good for him. We're all thinking the same thing here, right? And they almost get him to eat turtle meat. As a joke. Yep. I remember Mikey asking Donnie in 2012, do turtles burrow? And he had no idea. I found it funny. As a turtle nerd. My earbuds keep dying, oh my gosh. I relate. My earbuds die very quickly for some reason, and I don't know why. Wait, so my OC is probably half cannibal. I don't think my OC is. I don't think Renaissance's species is cannibal because, you know, herbivores. But, you know, sometimes the natural laws of nature just don't work out. Sometimes things be crazy. Sometimes things just be crazy. Yeah, you guys ever watch Casual Geographic? I love his videos. It's awesome. You saw that comic, right? Right. Mikey, no, we love you. Go eat yourself. Well, technically speaking, I can't hear you. Those of you who know, you know. Alright, I'll be working on more Rise content. I'll be working on 100 Girlfriends content as well. I don't know. I've had an idea for a Little Nightmares video, but I'm not sure about posting it because Little Nightmares doesn't do as well on my channel as other stuff. So, thank you guys for being here. I'm probably gonna go grab some food. Take care of yourselves. Yeah. Casual Geographic, love his stuff, yes. Keep being creative, stay positive out there, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Bye!